Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another hopefully beautiful day out there. The weather is absolutely gorgeous. Like here in Florida, it's always like super hot, like humid to the point of not wanting to even be outside in the most literal of ways. But the weather's been like absolutely beautiful. It is a cool, my weather thing just went away. It's like 70 something. I don't know. It's really nice. It may even be a little bit lower. Anyways, today we're listening to Pat Metheny Group. We are listening to this track, A Place in the World. This is off of his album. Speaking of now, 10th studio album, released in 2002. We are listening to this track because it was suggested and sponsored by Mark Jeffrey. So Mark, thank you so much for the recommendation, and I really appreciate the support as well. Pat Metheny, always a great time to listen to. Mr. Metheny here. And I do not believe, looking at the track listing, that we've listened to anything from this particular album. I could be wrong, but I don't. I'm glancing and I don't see anything in particular that stands out. Well, actually, hold on. There may. Okay, well, yeah, we listened to. Okay, I knew you looked familiar. Okay, so we have listened to that particular track, and now we're moving on to this one. Let's go ahead and pull it up here. We'll listen to it. We'll discuss it a little bit. Here. Hold on, it's pulling up, it's loading. Here we go. It doesn't always happen, but a lot of times the music I listen to here may sometimes match the mood that I'm in, or at least like the day and everything. And right now it's Sunday afternoon. It's 12:50 on a Sunday, and there's something for me very nostalgic about listening to jazz on Sundays. Couldn't exactly tell you what it was, but there's just something about listening to jazz on Sundays. Probably something to do with my dad and having the, being home on the weekend and everything. And so right now, even the next track is named afternoon. Even right now, this is like just so perfectly fitting with the mood of the day as I look outside. It's still early, so you can enjoy the Sunday before, Monday comes and ruins everything. And the music here is just very fitting. It's relaxing, but at the same time it's exciting. And the balance struck between those two things is, I think, very well done. I love Metheny's guitar playing in here, especially the riff, right? The ba. It's very like exciting and kind of adventurous. The ba 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 da 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 ba 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 da ba ba. It's very melodic, but there's something also very striking about it. Like if he was to plug his guitar into a distortion amp or whatever, that would be kind of a nice thrashy riff, right? Ba 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 da 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 ba or whatever. So I like that, and then we get more signs of that aggression later on, and I'm using aggression very loosely. When he comes in after all the solos, and the guitar, the way that he plays is just fast and kind of, like I said, just very forthcoming, which I thought is really kind of interesting for how he plays. Because you usually don't hear him play in that kind of heavy respect, but I think it was very, very well fitting here. The solos from the piano and the trumpet are, I think, the key. The piano is going to be played here by none other than Lyle Mays, not Mile Lays. And then the trumpet's performed by Mr. Vu, who was also handling those wordless vocals that we heard throughout the song. Which, as I'm noticing with a lot of Pat Metheny's music, those wordless vocals seem to be a big part and kind of a characteristic of his music. They always kind of pop up in those moments that just, not focusing on lyrics because they're kind of wordless, just kind of scatting, I guess you could say, and vocalizing. But they're used to just kind of push the music just a little bit extra. I always say kind of give it a little bit of a bloom. It's like, to me, the music is like a flower. Like it's building up, and then those vocals and the music just kind of blooms and blossoms, and the flowers open up, the petals going a splay and everything. And I just think that sounds really, really wonderful in here. Antonio Sanchez on drums and Dave Samuels on percussion. And I like how, in the beginning, for example, you hear the hi-hats, and those are kind of driving things relatively fast, although light, like a light drizzle. But then there's those moments where like you'll hear the heavy toms come in and kind of add, to me, a cannonball kind of sound. There's a depth to those that just boom and ring out and act as a cool fill. Instead of doing like a fill, ba, 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 ba. Like it's just, for example, boom. But the way that it is, it has a certain kind of strong enunciation within the background of the music. But like I said, that moment after the solos when Pat comes back in with the guitar and kind of starts things over for that conclusion, I think is really, really nice. And then also, I guess you're going to have vocals as well by Richard Bona, who's also playing bass and some guitar and some percussion. He's doing a little bit of everything here. I thought that this was a very sweet track, and I think the standout, besides those solos, is Metheny's guitar. And then as I'm looking at, or I'm thinking about the solos, one last thing before I sign off, is that I like how the solos, when they begin, they take place in a more isolated space. There's not a lot of music happening around those solos, but of course the build up, the elevation in that happens as as the solos continue on, the drums begin to come in a little bit more, the bass line fills in more of those spaces, and then it gets to those blossoming moments, hits the climax, and then moves on to the next solo from, like I said, piano to trumpet and etc. So it's just very well done structurally and compositionally, I guess you could say. Anyways, let me know what you guys thought, of course, of the track in the comments down below. I appreciate the supports and the recommendation, Mark. Thank you so much for that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please enjoy the rest of your day. I will see you all tomorrow, hopefully. Bye.